seems to be what works best. Alright, the last area that I'd like to touch into is raw emotions. As he mentioned earlier, this is my book, all about this subject. Has anybody read this book?
Yep.
Woo! A few of you.
It's a great book. I really loved it. It's probably the best book out there if you're losing weight.
Aww.
I've read a lot of them too, and that one's really, really good. You did an excellent job.
Alright, well this came out earlier this year, and it is all about restructuring the emotional connection with food, if that's something that you're excited to do. It's about all the stuff beyond the physical relationship with food, right? The emotional stuff, the social, the psychological, the stuff that doesn't often get talked about, and quite often doesn't even seem to be thought about by a lot of people. But when I look around me, I seem to see these massive emotional connections with food with most people in our societies. And it's not really getting spoken about, so I wanted to go into that. I come from a background of compulsive overeating. This stuff is fascinating to me. You can see I wrote a whole book about it. I'm clearly interested in this. So I'd like to share a few of the tips from here. I guess one of the things that I like to make clear for people is my impression is that eating raw can help with changing your emotional connection with food, for the simple reason that I think we can all understand that eating a bunch of kale is going to have a pretty different effect on you than eating like a Betty Crocker cake or something, right? You're not going to be like totally knocked out from the kale in the same way. So eating raw can help, and it also doesn't equal suddenly you have no emotional connection with food, right? Most people, when I'm looking around, seem to be eating for any and every reason other than they actually need some more physical fuel, right? They eat because they're happy, they eat because they're sad, they eat because they think they deserve it, whatever that means. They eat because they're bored. The most bizarre reason why people seem to eat. People seem to treat food as if it's a form of entertainment most of the time. So there's a few tips I like to encourage people to think about in terms of this, and the main one is to learn to recognize for yourself the difference between mind hunger and true physical hunger. Like your body, your stomach is actually like pulling. You actually feel physically ready for more fuel, right? Now, most people never even get to that point because they are up here. Your mind and your taste buds in most people seem to be shouting the loudest. So think about it, your body wants to be healthy, right? Your body wants no disease and wants optimal health. Your body is like, can we have some greens, please? Give us some greens. And these guys up here are all about pleasure. They're about, give me the carrot cake. You know, your mind and your taste buds are like, go for the sugar, go for the tasty stuff, go for the carrot cake, you know? And most people seem to be listening to these guys over and over and over again in patterns and circles, repeating for years and decades. If that sounds familiar and you're in a place that you're not too excited about your health and your eating habits right now, then maybe it's time to start doing something different, you know, to start listening to somebody else other than the mind and the taste buds. So when you have that draw, that crazy compulsion towards eating something, let's say it's a piece of carrot cake, breathe, take a step back and ask yourself questions. Where is this drive coming from? Is it coming from my mind or actually from my anatomy? Like, am I actually physically hungry? When did I last eat? How much water have I drunk today? All of these kind of questions can help us to evaluate whether eating this piece of carrot cake is actually the optimal choice for us right now. Ask yourself, could I be making a better choice right now? If that lump of carrot cake is full of refined sugar and processed starch, probably yes, right? You could probably be making a better choice. So think about other things that might help. Drinking warm tea has been a huge help for me on this journey. Not all raw feeders drink warm tea because, you know, they don't eat hot food. Why would they drink warm tea? I have found tea to be very, very useful on my journey for helping me to step away from eating. If I can get from wanting to shove a whole bunch of cake in my mouth to eat it, you know, just drinking some warm tea, whew, that's a good choice for me. You know, I didn't throw all those calories into my body. Ultimately, what I'm looking for is to change my mood in some way. I'm looking for stimulation in some form from the outside, right? It does not have to come in the form of a load of calories going into my body. I could go and hug someone, I could go and talk to someone, I could take a bath, I could go for a walk. There's so many other things I could be doing than shoving cake in my face, right? And yet, that's the pattern that I played out for 23 years non-stop. So, I hope that helps, yeah?
Yeah, we do that with broth too, just heat up some water and then pour in some green powder and some seaweed and some cayenne and some crush some garlic, put some ginger in there, and you get all that stimulation, but you're not getting the calories and you're not feeling heavy and sleepy and all the rest of it. It gets you through the winter. It's really fabulous.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you're in a cold place like up here during the winter time, warm teas is a great idea. Alright, there's a whole section in this book called The Optimal Vision, helping people to create their optimal vision for their lives. How do you ideally want to be turning up? What is the most vibrant, amazing, delicious version of yourself that you could be manifesting? And there's a whole section in here helping you to identify that. And where do you want to be going from here? And I guess the last thing that I would like to share with you about is my vision moving forward now in my life, is all about getting to our piece of land down in Ecuador and growing food. We have land down in Vilcabamba in South Ecuador, and we're going to be moving there next year, all being well, and we're going to be growing food, raising children and community down on the land. And I am so excited to go and get my hands in the earth and be growing food and connecting to the land. I've been tapping on a keyboard for like 5 years, like writing books and blogs and all kinds of things. I want to get like reconnected more to the earth, and so we're going to be down there. Everybody is welcome to come and visit.
Right.
We're probably going to be holding retreats at some point in the future, and we're also, very excitingly, having a raw food gathering down in Vilcabamba in May 2010, May next year. It's going to be like a kind of raw food festival, but total just free flow. Nobody is organizing it. So it's basically just like turn up and meet the tribe. You know, just come along and have fun. There's maybe going to be some boards in the square or something, and you can say like, oh, I'm going to hold a yoga class today at 2 o'clock or whatever. So there's going to be some information about that going up online soon. We hope to see you guys there if you're able to come and play. It is an incredible area of fertility and abundance. You can literally grow all year round. It's like spring all year round. So if any of you are vaguely interested in maybe stepping away from US life at this point, then maybe we'll see you down there as well. It's definitely an interesting place that's evolving down there.
Yeah, Mike Adams was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Natural News.
Yeah, naturalnews.com, if you're not familiar with that, it's a great website, and Mike's down there. So the last little resource that I would like to share with you is my songs online. If you haven't seen my songs, one of my passions in life is making raw food songs, and I put them up on YouTube. I mainly do musical songs, raw food versions of things from The Sound of Music and stuff like that. So if you go to YouTube and put in my name, you'll find things like a few of my favorite raw things and different songs like that. So
Sing as one.
Well, I'll sing you that one. I'll sing
Okay.
favorite things. All right. It goes a little something like this. It goes, green juice with apple and hemp seeds with pollen.